about something we don't know about. You know what I mean? Like,
Perfectly said.
and Timmy was a human being beyond anything, and he
Yes.
deserves to be laid to rest if that's the case, just like anybody else would. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we have funerals and stuff for a reason, you know. And because I still hope every day that Timmy walks through my door.
Warning. The podcast you're about to listen to may contain graphic descriptions of violent assaults, murder, and adult language. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the Murder Police Podcast, Part 2 of Never Forget Little Timmy. In this episode, we sit down with Timmy's mother, Tammy Sterner, and his sister, Sabra Johnson, to discuss the details of Timmy's disappearance. Please tune in and share with your friends. Welcome back to the Murder Police Podcast. Today we continue our discussion on Little Timmy Sterner, and we have with us today his sister Sabra and his mother Tammy. Thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Very, very grateful for y'all taking the time, especially with a very difficult topic. So thanks for sitting down with us and adding to the story of who Timmy is. I think that's our whole goal, is to make sure people know that this is not a number. It's not something you saw on the news and turn the page away. Is that the family and Timmy, everybody deserves answers. And hopefully we can shake the tree and get.
Well, we just kind of wanted to get to know you guys a little bit better. We've interviewed several of your family members and friends to tell us who Timmy is, and we wanted to hear from you all as well. So, Sabra, you're his sister. So why don't you tell us a little bit what growing up with Timmy was like?
Timmy was fun. I think some of my favorite memories were like playing video games. He always tried to get me and our other sister to like play football in the yard. He was much better than us at the video games too. But yeah, he was fun.
Do you remember what video games that he would get y'all to play?
A lot of GTA and
Grand
like
Theft
racing
Auto.
games, like Need for Speed.
Gotcha.
Those type of games.
Grand Theft Auto, he had.
Yeah, and I asked that because that kind of sets a time frame for what's on and what's not in those days, you know.
I would wake up like at 3 a.m. and Timmy still be playing that game.
That sounds like somebody we know.
Yeah.
Timmy, you gotta go to
Sounds like our
school.
boy.
He's like, I'll go. I'm like, no, you won't.
Yeah, that sounds like our kid.
Yeah, we do cut it off.
Yeah.
On school nights. We try to say no.
I didn't really
Now on the
understand.
weekends, he's a gamer.
Yeah, I didn't really understand what the game was, and I was watching it, and they rip people out of the car and steal the car.
And steal the car.
I'm like,
Yeah.
He was like, Mom, it's just a game.
What was that? I saw somebody one time that GTA is the only place where you can spend $20 on a prostitute and light her on fire on the same day. It's like, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a great influence. Right. Oh, man.
Oh.
So what good memories, though, right? Was he, like, really competitive?
So. Sometimes, like, he would be playing with his friends and he would do that thing that other brothers or older brothers do where they, like, make you think that the controller's on, but it's not, and make you think you're playing, but you're really not.
I see. Yeah, trick you into it.
Yeah.
It's. I remember my stepson talked to me years ago into Fortnite, and on the game he said, "Come in this little house," and he had a booby trapped and blew the hell out of me. And I learned then not to play with him anymore because he cheated really badly.
He's always the protector. Like his friends.
We have heard that from.
Like if his
mostly
friends
everyone.
come over, she had to change her shirt or whatever. She had on a tank top or whatever. Yeah, Timmy was.
Oh wow! So there we go. We got he tries to badger you into football, and right, but at the same time, he's really big about that. Tell us more about that. Did you feel like that he was your protection from things from time to time?
I did. You know, I can remember a lot of times where he just kind of went to bat for me, I guess I would say.
We hear that.
Yeah.
We hear that. People that are listening and watching are going to hear that over and over again, that he's super loyal, super of family and stuff like that too. What other kind of things was he interested in when you all were growing up?
And He loves sports. Like, he loves UK basketball. He would watch every single game.
Oh, wow.
His whole life, he just loves them. I still got his board where you name the brackets or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
All right, who's the last one? He had a bunch of UK signs everywhere. He loved UK.
I think when you live in this area, it's a law. Because I grew up in Louisville, and when I moved here, it was like they took me in a dark room and beat me and told me you're no longer a Cardinal fan, and you have to be a UK fan. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
It's a religion in this town. So, okay, because we hadn't heard before, but he caught all the games, right?
Yeah, all of them.
Cool.
Yeah. And I made sure he had time on his tablet to do that when he was in jail. Like, he had to watch them, so we watched them.
Oh, yeah.
But I think you're like either you're born a UK fan or you're not. Like, we was born into it. My mom's always been one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, and my dad.
Yeah.
And Tim's dad is too. Little Timmy's daddy was UK. We used to go to games all the time.
Big deal here.
Yeah.
Big deal here. I'm serious. I used to think Louisville fans were over the edge, and I got here.
Yeah, we got the wildest.
Oh, God, yes, yeah. Listen, I've worked the celebrations on State Street, having things thrown at me, and I know. I always tell
fire.
people. Oh, yes. I mean, I tell people when I travel, I'm like, yeah, they really like couches on fire, and then they light shirts on fire. Sometimes they take them off, sometimes they don't, which I was always interested in the first one because that hurt. You could watch people, and I would never light my shirt on fire, but it's still on, but people would do that, so that's how fanatical they are.
We used to live downtown when they would have the games. They would, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I was on the other side of that wild.
Yeah.
Exactly. Trust me.
Well, we've heard from Sabra about how he was as a brother. Tammy, tell us, you're his mom. Tell us how having Timmy for a son, was he a fun baby or a cranky baby?
Yeah, he was my little man from the time I had him. He was the best baby. He just real short. Little Timmy had like no legs. Timmy was a little man, just like his dad. So he, I remember the day he left. We were like, he's like, I'm 5'7.5", Mom. I'm like, no, Timmy, you're 5 foot tall. He's like, I'm 5'7". I said, no, I'm 5'7". You're like, you said 5'3" on the driver's license, so really 5 foot tall. He'd get mad that, like, he was too short to play basketball and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he was little,
but he loved football.
He loved football.
Right.
He played football a little bit. But he's just real protective. Like, he loved his family. He's all about his family. He grew up with Josh Sterner, which is his cousin, but they were really raised as brothers. We used to go to the rodeos all the time when he was little. And the Cowboys used to come and get him. He loved them. He just loved them. Then we started going to the car racing. And then the drivers come and get him when they win the trophies. And Timmy would get all the trophies. So, yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
Yeah. On the rodeos, did you dress him up like a little cowboy?
No.
Yeah.
Yes, and he hated it. So his dad would have him in a flannel shirt and a white beater and a name belt and Justin boots. And he'd be like, when I go to my mom's, at least I get to be a pimp.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Setting those goals.
I let him wear lug boots and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Oh, how cute. How cute. Got to have some Justin boots, especially if you're going to the rodeo. I mean, right? I mean, it's part of the show. We hit the rodeos whenever we can, and we do dad up a little bit.
Yeah, we
kinda
try
get
to
our
play the
Western thing
part.
a little bit. So football, rodeos, race cars, things like that too. What was his sense of humor like? What do y'all remember about that?
It's just funny. I don't know. Like, my family is very obnoxious,
Okay.
sarcastic. So, like, a Christmas with us is just jabs, really. Like, we all throw jabs at each other, just like emailing them through the room. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't have it, you would probably got your feelings hurt.
That's a lot like my dad's side of the family, so we were used to that too. So just hammering each other all the time. Is that what you remember?
Yeah.
Exactly. Is it still like that? Do y'all still cut loose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Gotcha, for sure.
Like, we don't have no secrets, really. Like, all our stuff's laid out on the table. We all know everything about each other. And if you don't, you're quickly going to learn it.
I got you. I'm getting that too. I think that's part of the closeness I'm sensing is that everything. You're right. Everything's on the table that I've heard so far too.
Like we didn't have secrets and stuff. We just, yeah.
How about his romantic life? How did it? Can you describe any of that? When did he take an interest in?
I think you should word that different. It sounds like a harlequin romance. I think what David means is, did he have girlfriends growing up, or somebody
That's
he liked?
the words I was looking for.
Yeah, many of them. He,
Girl crazy.
Really?
Crazy.
Okay, good. Let's go there because someone told me.
He just loved them, loved women, but he was good to them. You know, I taught him you treat women good, and he did. He had one long-term relationship. I think it was Summer.
Okay.
I didn't know Summer really good then. I was calling in for all that. But I know he wrote me and told me about her. You know, I think they were together like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
She said she would talk to you on the phone. But she's in Arizona or something.
Yeah, we'll try to locate her because we're virtually anybody wants to come and talk about Timmy, we're going to talk to. So we'll take care of that somehow. We'll make that work.
Well, we do know, in later times, Timmy went away for a stint.
Yeah.
Did you all, while he was incarcerated, did you all stay in touch with him with letters or phone calls?
I talked to Timmy every day.
Oh, wow.
Unless he was in the home, then he only got to call home once a week. But, yeah. I wrote him letters, money, every week, everything.
Yeah,
I think me and his dad did constantly.
Well, that's important. He was in there for a pretty long stretch, 7-8 years or something. And the one thing I think people have that are in there is the support of the family is probably what gets them through that,
Yeah, when I was going through his letters, I found a bunch of letters from me and his two grandmas, my mom and Tim's mom. And then his friend Ryan Grosson, he had all kinds of letters from him. I think he's locked up though, because I tried to get him to contact him, but I can't find him.
Yeah.
And Summer, of course, and yeah. So.
Gotcha. Well, at least Sabra, were you able to talk to him or speak to him?
Not as much as I would have liked to, but I did try to send like Christmas cards and letters when I could. I remember the last time I sent him a card, he just said it made his whole week. So
something to distract him, yeah. Because somebody said that he stayed really fit while he was in there.
He got swole.
That's why he got swole, yeah. But again, I mean, what a way to occupy your mind and keep your mind in a forward direction too. Is it?
He was a big boy when he came out. Too big because he's short. He's a little man. And he was. I was like, oh,
kind of fire plugged on you.
Yeah,
exactly. Fire plugged. And he's short stature like his dad Tim, right? Yeah, that's me and Tim see eye to eye.
Literally.
Literally.
Him and Little Timmy did too, so they're the same height.
Yeah, so it not because we've met a whole lot, but because I'm a short guy. And my dad's side of the family, it's all jockeys and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, he would hate, if he was listening, he would hate us talking about how short he is on the air.
5'7".
We'll just go with 5'7",
yeah,
okay?
5'7", exactly.
He's 5'7".
Exactly.
So, Tammy, we understand he had gotten out and you went and got him and brought him home. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I went and picked him up. He was supposed to got out in the middle of the month, but they let him out on the first Monday of the month. So we picked him up. We watched that's when they had the eclipse.
Okay. Yeah.
So we watched that and we went to Cracker Barrel and ate and just drove home and talked. And Timmy was on his phone. I brought his phone and stuff to him and he stayed on his phone. I was like, dang, you got all these... What's going on? You've been gone forever. You got all these pictures and stuff on the phone. He was like, look, Mom, that ain't heard it. He said, Mom, they got these filters now. So I said, yeah, they're catfishing now.
Catfishing? Hell, that's too good.
But yeah, he stayed on the phone all night talking to all his little friends and stuff. I heard him say, probably 4 times, oh, man, I ain't getting high no more. I'm done with that shit. I'm not going back there.
So he had plans on re-engineering himself and everything, right? That's what we're hearing too, which is so good to hear.
He was supposed to go to work with his dad.
Yeah, good deal.
So,
and for a guy that used to start the casework that send people there,
right.
That is the best thing in the world to hear. Is that I just remarked on a friend of mine on Facebook. He ran into somebody that said, "You all used to chase me back in the day," and there's nothing like watching people turn their life around, because we didn't like repeat customers. It wasn't about that. And I know so many people that did remarkable things with their life. So it's not always the negative that people make it out, and we can't write people off, right? So everything we're gathering is that he really was looking at re-entering and living his life differently.
I think his dad was out of town. He just had to go back out of town. I took Timmy to see Sandy. And he got to see my mom and Terrence. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, so he didn't get to see many people, but he was on that phone. He talked to probably everybody in the world.
Well, yeah, at least he got that. Now, on the sad side, too, that's all people have from the last contact is a Facebook call or that we've learned is that they never, because he'd made plans on connecting, which obviously with as many people he could, and that they got interrupted.
Well, when I went through his stuff, I found some letters that he never sent. So I give those people them letters. One was to me, one was Dad, his granny, my mom, and I think Summer and Katie. Katie was Timmy's probably first love ever in life.
Okay.
He loved that girl. I think they just became friends, you know, just grew into friends, and that's what they are. And always been. I think it was Timmy, Katie, Heather Bush, who else? Kayla. I think that's it. It was them four all the time.
Yeah. Well, those letters have a big meaning now in his hand and his voice. Yeah, those are big because Sandy actually read the last one she got, and it was difficult to listen to. But again, the power of what that is, looking at where you're at right now, is incredible. To have a memento like that, that's got to be. So he wouldn't he straighten me out if I'm jumping ahead or anything like that. But so you pick him up. He's on the phone, which I can only imagine to contact as many people. When did you realize that something was off? Either one of you. When did you realize something wasn't right with this guy that just got out?
I guess I let Timmy use my car. He went to meet somebody, go to a meeting.
Okay.
And then I talked to Timmy at 10:30. He said, "Mom, I think I'll just stay out here." I was like, "No, I want you to come home, bring my car home. I got a job interview in the morning." The police are really bad out here. There are. It's crazy. They pull you over. The whole police force comes. So there's 30 cops, just you. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want that for Timmy.
We're
Plus,
like
he didn't have a
bananas.
license.
We come in bunches. Yeah, exactly.
And but I knew they could. You don't have to have a license to drive. You just can't drive on a suspended warrant. So, but I wanted Timmy to know I trusted him, and so I let him take my car. And then I got a phone call like at 11:47 or 12:47. I think it was 12:47. Said that Timmy stole somebody's car, left in it, wrecked it, and is gone. And they have my car, and they got pulled over in my car that night.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting little.
When you were told that, when that person said to you, "He took my car and he's gone," did you believe that initially, or were you thinking, "There's no way"?
Why would Timmy take the car?
He had a car.
Fully insured. It's insurance paid up for a year. Permission to drive it. And my son is okay. So for me, I don't care about none of that. That's a material thing. As long as you're home and you're fine, I'm okay. You don't even have to bring the car home. Right. And Timmy knew that about me. Like, my son's not going to say, "Hey, will you pull my mom's car up the driveway? I'm scared I'll tear the bottom up." Timmy will tear the bottom up and bring it home and be like, "Mom, sorry, man. I'll get it fixed for you. David's a good mechanic." You know, that's just Timmy, you know what I mean? Yeah. He knew, but as long as he's okay, I'm okay. It didn't matter. He didn't have to bring the car home. The car can come with no wheel, no windows, nothing. As long as Timmy came home and he was okay.
That's a mom.
I think it just didn't make sense.
Did your mom call you and tell you about it, Sabra? Is that how you found out?
Well, that day we had talked about making plans, and I know he had talked to our sister as well about going and seeing our nieces and nephew. And then that night, it was my grandma that called me at about right before 3 in the morning, and was saying that he was just gone. And so, of course, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. So, yeah.
What did you think when you heard that? Were you thinking that don't sound right?
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
So then at that point, I guess you all are kind of sitting around waiting. It's probably now breakfast time. He's still not home.
No, I went back down there that morning. I got home like at 5 o'clock from getting my car. I went down there and got my car that night, and I searched for Timmy that night, and I didn't see him out there because he only had one shoe on. They had one of his shoes. They had his phone, my car, and my car keys.
Everything in his pockets.
Everything out of Timmy's
Everything
pockets.
he had, and one of his shoes.
So what did you say? This don't look right.
When they had Timmy's phone, I knew something bad happened.
Something odd. And again, you'll steer from a lot of intimate details, but everything that we've talked about,
Because I always taught Timmy, your phone is your lifeline.
Sure.
As long as you have that, you can call, get out, you can call me, anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's your lifeline, no matter what. If you got a phone, you're good.
Yeah. So that's one of those dots that's not connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Is this whole thing is full of dots.
So were you just kind of giving some fishy stories when you went there to get that stuff?
Yeah, so that Timmy wrecked a car and then called somebody to come get him, and he jumped in that car and left, that he was seen on camera. Well, it took me 50 minutes to get out there. You can't just drive out there quickly like that. Timmy's been in jail for 8 years. He don't know nobody's number. The only number he knows is mine and his dad's. And I know he's going to call me. I've talked to Timmy every single day since he was born. And so is his dad. I mean, Timmy's going to call us, you know what I mean? Or, because the right, wrong, or indifferent, I got Timmy. I don't care what he does.
Right.
I'm going to get him a lawyer. I'm going to help him get out. I don't care.
That's a mother.
You know, that's my baby.
That's a mother.
He don't do no wrong in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? So, and if he did, it's okay. We're going to work through it.
Yeah. So that's a whole story that gets your all's attention quite a bit, too.
I think it's, not to mention that there's no cell phone signal out there.
Good point.
And his phone was smashed.
Yeah, we're talking a pretty rural area down by the river, and here in Kentucky, we call those hollers. Some people may not understand what that is. It's a way to either say hello or a place you live.
Yeah.
Right. And but it's true is that when you get down to what we in that part of Jessamine County or Fayette County, your phone just doesn't work. It's just it's in a tight valley. That's what a holler is, especially next to a body of water. So there's another thing that said the dots aren't connecting. Is that supposedly a phone call's made when phone calls don't work for anybody else.
Yeah.
Well, did they tell you, Tammy, how the phone got cracked and how they got his shoe and the contents in his pocket?
Said that when Timmy wrecked the car, that the shoe was left in the car. They found his phone in the middle of the road smashed, like he broke it. And they had my car, because she was moving my car for Timmy because he was scared to move my car up the driveway, afraid he would tear it up. So he asked her to move it. So she was moving my car, and he was supposed to be moving her car. And then he just jumps in her car and takes off and vanishes. So then she said that Timmy used her cell phone because it was left in her car when he stole it to call somebody to come get him. And the other girl said, well, how do you use your phone? You have a lock on your phone. She said, no, I don't. And the girl said, yes, I do. I was like, I just started laughing. I said, y'all better come up with a better story than this because I'm coming back in the morning.
Yeah, there was a lot circulating about that they saw him smash the phone and get into a vehicle, that he used their phone and they accidentally deleted the call from their call logs, and there was a lot of stuff circulating.
Can I get the last number he called them from your phone? She said, well, I deleted them.
And I think another thing that sent off alarm bells was that his shoe was seen in the passenger seat of the vehicle.
Yeah, in the passenger seat, and then so you've got somebody that's missing one shoe that's just taken off too. And again, just for the listeners and watchers, if they're jumping into this episode without the full wind-up, one thing we share without the address is that Timmy went to a place, a known location where he's last seen, and there were people, more than one person that's at that scene, which lends to the suspicion of this thing as to how does somebody just vanish from that. So for the listeners that are catching up, you need to go back and listen to the other episodes to get the full picture. But that's the stuff that makes this something different than, because, one thing you could theorize is that he left. And some adults leave, but these are the suspicious circumstances that would walk us away from somebody just leaving.
Yeah, there was other things too that I thought were suspicious, but also just to provide context, it was very cold that night.
There we go.
And it was raining really bad. Mm-hmm. It was raining bad, and he wasn't properly dressed.
Crocodile Dundee. He's not no country boy. He's very much a...
Somebody made that clear. That
Yes.
He had nothing to do with being outdoors. That he didn't.
So
very much a pretty Ricky, little, pretty boy Floyd. What he called himself.
Yeah, he would change shirts 3 times a day.
Yeah,
So this was
everything
there we
matched,
go.
yeah.
And that's
so for him to just run out in the cold, in the dark,
In
you
one
can't
shoe.
see anything with one shoe. Not have a jacket on or anything like that. That's just...
Yeah. And again, to paint a picture for what this is like that people don't know, this is in a holler like that. Dark is a whole nother word. Cold is a whole nother word because the temperatures are grossly different under by that body of water and whatever. And then throw the rain and the river swelling. It
was very high and very, very fast moving. It had been raining for a week and continued raining.
Rain for another week.
Yeah, when the Kentucky River comes out of its banks and moves, it moves. It's so, you have all of that. You have somewhere where
when
it's
I
atypical.
Went and picked my car up that night, it was pouring down rain. Like, it took me 50 minutes to get there from Lancaster. Mm-hmm. And I went and got Timmy's phone fixed. And I asked the man, does it got water damage? He said, no, it's a brand new phone. He said, this phone ain't touching no water. But it was found in the middle of the road and it was pouring down rain.
Okay, there we go. Another interesting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Another interesting thing.
And I'm a Virgo, so we analyze everything to nothing.
Yeah.
If it don't make sense, I have to make it make sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so.
Very, very analytical and whatnot.
Another thing was that, they claimed to see him do this and that and the other, but then later claimed that they were never there and that he stole the vehicle and they had to go find it, and they found it later on.
Yeah. So there's tons of conflicting statements.
Well, yeah, because because so many people were there and so many people should know something.
There we are. Is that we definitely are at a place once again where somebody absolutely knows something, whatever that something is, and there's a range of possibilities on that. But the one thing I think we can probably agree with because of the circumstances is somebody knows something, and maybe more than one person. By now, this has been several months, so now you not only have the people that were there, they have talked to other people. So somewhere in this, we always remind our listeners that this is a pretty small community, which is why I love living here. Somebody knows something. So what if you could ask the community for help in this, because that's where it's going to come from, what would we ask people to say? What would we ask them to do to locate Timmy and if justice has to be served, that justice is served? What would we ask them to do?
Like, we can't do something about something we don't know about, you know what I mean? Like,
perfectly said.
And Timmy was a human being beyond anything, and he deserves to be laid to rest if that's the case, just like anybody else would, you know what I'm saying? We have funerals and stuff for a reason, you know? And because I still hope every day that Timmy walks through my door.
And there's that thing. I don't think we should lose that hope that might happen one day. And then you could yell at him for not saying, but we know that somebody has answers. Yeah. What would you, Sabra? What would you ask people in the community?
I would say speak up so that we can bring him home.
That's it.
If you know something, if you've seen something, say something.
Amen. Absolutely.
Because if it was somebody else's kid, we would say something. There's a difference between ratting for drugs and getting yourself out of trouble, inhumane, right and wrong. There's a big difference between all that.
That is so true, Tammy. That's so, and a guy that was in the business for almost 30 years. You're right. There's a huge difference in what that is, and just doing the right damn thing for a family. Those are. I don't think I've heard. I don't think I've heard it put that clearly before. Is that excellent? Mm-hmm. That's the difference in this, and it. If people should put themselves in your all's shoes, and they should think what that would feel like. Maybe remember that if people did him harm and did something wrong, that until those people are brought to justice, that they're open and vulnerable to the same thing as well. But man, at some point, doing the right thing, that's not being a snitch or a rat. That's just being human, and getting answers back too for those people. I think that's what still frustrates me about all of this. The answers are inside whoever was down there and the people that they know right now.
Yeah, there has to be somebody that knows something with a conscience. I clear your conscience.
I think also with all the amount of people that was there that night, if he took off in a car, supposedly, why is nobody chasing him? Why is nobody going after him to see where he's going? How far, Tammy, was that car wrecked from the residence? Like just a couple of feet or a couple miles?
I would say it took me maybe 2 minutes to get to the residence from the wreck site.
So you would think if I know if somebody took off in my car and there's another car sitting there, I'm going to follow to see where they're going.
I do know the girl got charged with falsifying a police report and leaving a scene of accident.
Interesting.
There's been several sources that have said that he was not driving that vehicle.
Here we go. And you hit the nail on the head, too, when you said several sources, that the complexity of this, as we talked before we recorded, is the things that the family's hearing that makes it confusing. It's confusing for the investigators, too. But somebody knows what those truths are.
Well, I think what's confusing is if he's driving, why is the shoe in the passenger seat?
Right.
How'd the shoe come off the
cop
foot?
that responded to the wreck said he remembers the shoe in the passenger seat being laid all the way down, pushed all the way back, and the white tennis shoe in the passenger seat of the car. He did remember that.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So many inconsistencies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, tons of reason to be super suspicious.
If you hear the story, he freaked out and jumped in my car and stole it. You still leave some kind of doubt in your mind. Maybe it did happen. Maybe he did steal a car and take it. You know what I'm saying?
But even if you went there, you're a reasonable person, and this is who you are because you think these things through the end. What's after that? See, there's the thing is that if we're being told some BS on that, that's the problem with it. There's no after that. So you got shoeless Joe Jackson. He's missing a shoe. It's cold. It's wet. He's not down for that to begin with. In a holler in the middle of the night.
It's pitch black. You can't see 2 feet in front of your face. Yeah. You can't see anything out there.
And that is not Timmy. Timmy is not about to stay in no holler during the pouring rain for 10 minutes.
With one shoe on.
And I was up and down that road, so if Timmy was hiding somewhere, he would know that was me, and he would come out there.
I believe that.
Timmy knows I'm going to take him. I'm hide him, move him out of state. I don't care. I'm going to take care of my baby, you know what I mean?
Sure. So that's what moms do.
Yeah.
That's what they do. So I guess we need people to cough it up. We need people. You said it best, Sabra, is that if you've got a conscience, let's let that go. I always say, and I've said it before, we can say, I don't know how people walk around with that in their heart and on their shoulders, but I unfortunately met too many people that did, and I never understood it. And I will say this, that I always looked at them and thought, you're really as guilty as the people that have been hiding the truth. You can't lie about that. There's no such thing. You're part and parcel and you're in. I would get that stuff off my soul as fast as possible. I would get that off. And you said it best, both of you did. Imagine if this was your family member. That's what we're looking for.
Our hope by doing this podcast and talking to all of you, friends, family, is to get out there not just who Timmy is, but we're hoping that somebody who knows what happened, like we've said, will come forward. I don't know that the people that are responsible for this has the courage to come forward. I really don't think they do. One would think that you wouldn't want that on your conscience or on your soul to have been so deceitful and bad. But our hope is that somebody knows something and they're going to tell on those people. And David, you've often said before, if you know and law enforcement finds out that you know and you're withholding it, you're just as guilty and you're going to get in trouble too.
Right.
So if you know, whomever you are,
First one that
Let
comes,
it go.
and I'm not the detective. I haven't spoke to the detective yet, so I can't make a promise, but I will tell you from practice. First ones that come to the table with the right information usually benefit because they're the ones that answer the questions that you all need. And it's not a game. If everybody holds on, everybody will take a severe ride together. So somebody that is involved in this needs to think of themselves in that way and work your ass out of what's about to happen, because I still feel that solvability is really high. I really feel like that this is going to crack loose.
I think so too, just because all of the pieces to the puzzle are there.
There we go.
And they all fit together. It's just that one missing piece to complete it. And somebody knows that
And I
missing
promise
piece.
you, as I sit here, I will find my son and lay him to rest like he should be. If it's till I take my last breath, I'm going to look for Timmy and come find Timmy.
Well, we're actually doing a lot of praying for that too, is that you all get the answers. But yeah, so if somebody that was there is listening, which I think might happen, I'm pretty sure, choke it up. And if you know somebody was there and they've shared information to you that would be beneficial, you're now obligated to choke that up. You might as well been there that night. So there's nobody, if they're carrying that in their heart, they need to.
They need to report that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really thought that we would hear something. We had $25,000 on Timmy's head first week.
We want to keep that out too. That there's a $25,000 reward.
Well, it's 15 now.
15. Yeah. That's
but-
still $15K.
Yeah.
So if people are listening, think about what you got to bring the right information
Right.
forward, obviously. But I don't
And
know.
here's the thing. It could be somebody else's son next time. You know what I'm saying? This stuff usually don't start or stop with one person.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Once people have the capability.
If you're that comfortable, I say he's not the first one. You know?
People who can do this or hang around are wired differently than you and me, so you're right. They're completely different in that aspect. And that's a spooky thing with it too. So we could do a whole lot if somebody would just call with the right information. We could protect the rest of the community. We could get you answers. If, God forbid, it's a matter of recovering him to bring him home for a burial, then you can get that to start moving through that part of y'all's life, that we could do that. But
Because they're out playing God, and that you can't give or take somebody's life. That's God's thing. So, yeah.
Well, we thank you all so much for coming, and we're going to continue to dig away and hope that we can get you all some answers. We really do. You all deserve that. So thank you for taking the time to come talk with us today.
Thank you.
Like David said, you all are certainly in our prayers. This is, we said last night, I don't think there's a case that we've ever really kind of gotten this close to, really. So it's, it's certainly been on our minds since it was brought to us to introduce it. So thank you all again.
Thank you so much.
thank you. Wonderful people.
Hey, you know there's more to the story, so go download the next episode like the true crime fan that you are.
The Murder Police podcast is hosted by Wendy and David Lyons and was created to honor the lives of crime victims, so their names are never forgotten. It is produced, recorded, and edited by David Lyons. The Murder Police podcast can be found on your favorite Apple or Android podcast platform, as well as at murderpolicepodcast.com, where you will find show notes, transcripts, information about our presenters, and a link to the official Murder Police podcast merch store, where you can purchase a huge variety of Murder Police podcast swag. We are also on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, which is closed caption for those that are hearing impaired. Just search for the Murder Police podcast and you will find us. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe for more and give us 5 stars and a written review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcasts. Make sure you set your player to automatically download new episodes so you get the new ones as soon as they drop. And please tell your friends. Lock it down, Judy.